All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another gathering of the Ultimate Book Club of Book Clubs. It always takes just a second for people to hop in. So I'm going to talk for just a minute. As you hop in and join us, let me know you're here and let me know where you're joining us from. It's always fun to see where everyone's coming in from. The Ultimate Book Club of Book Clubs got its start in 2020. My book, The Gentleman and the Thief, came out in the fall of 2020. And because we were early days in the COVID pandemic, everything was shut down and nothing was going on in person, but I still wanted a chance for everyone to kind of get together and hang out. So we created the Ultimate Book Club of Book Clubs, where I invited people to create a virtual gathering of their book club. And then as a book club, join in on this live stream. So what it became was a gathering of book clubs from literally all over the world, which was super, super fun. We had such a great time. We have reconvened over and over and over in the years since. The last time we met together as a worldwide book club of book clubs was September of last year. We got together for the Queen and the Knave. So it's been like 7 or 8 months since we were together. So this is fun to gather up again. I'm seeing a ton of people who are checking in with us today. One tradition we have in book club, we're going to do it again, is I have a prize for the person who is checking in from a location nearest to where I am right now, and a prize for someone who is checking in from the furthest away. So go ahead and pop that in. Obviously, I have to kind of guess. I do my best to figure it out, but I will watch these comments up through tomorrow, probably morning, and look through and find out who's the nearest and who's the furthest away. So pop in, check in, let me know where you're coming from. I have a couple of fun little prizes that we're going to give out to go to those. So hop in, let us know that you're here. During the book club of book clubs, we always play games. I have prizes. The last however long we have will be a question and answer. I will just watch for your questions in the feed and answer them as they come in and as I'm able, which is super fun. This generally runs up to about an hour. So that's kind of what we're planning on. And it will remain up on both my Facebook page and my YouTube channel to watch later. So if you couldn't join us live, it's still going to be there. So yay. Oh, and one more bit of housekeeping. I will choose a randomly selected commenter from amongst everyone who comments on this feed to receive a really, really fantastic prize. I'm going to be giving a set of Huntresses books, the set so far. So our prequel novella, The Best Laid Plans, our official book 1, The Best Intentions, that came out in 2022, and our brand new book we're discussing tonight, The Best of Friends. So that set of 3 will go to a randomly chosen commenter from amongst everyone who comments through the whole feed. So go ahead and pop it in there. Join in the fun. If you're joining us after the fact, go ahead and leave comments, because we will draw that winner tomorrow, just like we're going to do the distance winners as well. So yay, fun prizes there. All right, so first game, this is going to be a trivia game. I'm going to be drawing a prize here live during the book club of book clubs to anyone who can get this trivia question right. I will choose a random winner from amongst everyone who gets it right. So the prize we're going to give away is this really fantastic Between the Lines podcast tote bag. Ooh. If you guys are not familiar with the Between the Lines podcast, it is a podcast about reading and writing and life. It's hosted by myself, Tracy Hunter Abramson, Sean and Bessie and Esther Hatch. Posts every other Wednesday. That's a tote bag for that podcast. So that is our prize we're going to give away. And here's how you can enter. I'm going to ask you to pop into the comments. List all 4 of my book releases that I have announced for 2024. And that will include the book we're talking about tonight. So 4 2024 book releases. Can you name them all? They have all been announced. Some of them get lost in the shuffle. So go ahead and pop on over there on the side and let me know what those 4 releases are. I'll give you a second to kind of get it in there, and then I will pick a winner from amongst people who get that right. So that one is going to be drawn live today. And I'm trying to think what I should do next. Oh, also, throughout this evening, and I'll ask you for this a couple of times. Oh, someone asked, do they want the dates or the book titles? Just the book titles. You don't have to include when they're coming out. Just let me know. There are 4, and they've all been announced. So see if you can remember what they are. I am also going to, because this is how we always do the book club of book clubs, our kind of ultimate prize is I will meet with your book club for an upcoming book club meeting. We can do it virtually if we're not nearby, but we can make that happen. So I will let you know as we get a little bit further into this book club how to enter that. So be aware. Okay, I'm starting to get a couple of guesses. Ooh la la. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Get those coming and turning in. I also am going to read to you an excerpt from one of these books that I'm hoping you guys know is coming. So once we get a guess where someone remembers them all and give away that prize, I'm going to read an excerpt. So brace yourselves. And we have our emoji game coming up. Thank you to everyone who on social media gave me some emojis to use in the emoji game. It's always fun. Okay. I think I'm going to pull because we have someone who guessed all 4, and I think she's the first one to guess all 4. So I'm going to go ahead and pull her up. Heidi Goddard got all of them. Let me pop it on here so you guys can see it. She was the first. So Best of Friends, well, it just came out. Snapdragons, which is the next Gents book. Snowdrops and Winterberry, which is the was originally published as The Holly and the Ivy. It's releasing on its own with a brand new bonus epilogue. And there will be a collector's edition of Ashes on the Moor, which is coming out in hardback, guys. It's going to be gorgeous. I've seen the mock-ups of it, and it also will have a brand new bonus epilogue. So good job, Heidi. You are the winner of our tote bag. Fantastic. And I will make a post tomorrow on my social media with all of the winners of these prizes so that if you missed your name or forgot to reach out to me, you will be able to find it. So yay, we have some others who are coming in with the right guesses as well. And even though you didn't win this prize, you will still be entered to win the Oliver Grand Prize. So fantastic. All right. So another prize, because I love giving away prizes. I'm going to read an excerpt from an upcoming book, one that I haven't ever read anything from. And I want you to guess what that book is. And I will choose from amongst everyone who submits a guess someone to win a copy of a brand new book. This just came out last month, I believe. It is Jim and Catherine by the fantastic Tracy Hunter Abramson. Brand new, amazing book right there. I will draw someone to win that. This will be drawn and announced tomorrow along with the other prizes. So go ahead and pop in your guess as to what book I'm going to be reading an excerpt from. Okay, well, someone had guessed that maybe a book called Magic and Miracles might have been on the list. This is a book that just released today. I wrote the foreword for that book, so it's not really one of my books, but I wrote the foreword for it. So that's what you're thinking of. That book just released today. I believe it's 15 different short stories, novellas based on fairy tales. Went on sale today. I wrote the foreword for it, and all proceeds from this book go to Primary Children's Hospital. So it's really a great cause and a great project. So that's a good one to look up. So we will draw a winner of that prize and announce it tomorrow. So pop in the comments your guess as to which book you think I'm about to read you an excerpt from. It's one that hasn't been released, and I've never read anything from it before. So pop those in. Until I see the guess come up, I'm not going to read it to you because that's how mean I am. You're welcome. All right. I'm willing to sit here. Okay, there we go. Sometimes there's just a delay in getting the comments to come up. All right. Okay, so I'm not being nearly as sneaky as I thought. Everyone is guessing it's going to be Snapdragons, which is the next Gents book, and that is legitimately what it's going to be. So good job, guys. Snapdragons was announced, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It is the next Gents book. It is book four. I can count, I promise. It's book 4 in the Gents series. It is coming out in November. So yay, that's coming out. We haven't done a cover reveal, but we announced that the book is coming and what the title's going to be. So here we go. All right. Okay, here's our excerpt. We're starting right at the beginning, chapter 1. Cambridge University, 1774. For those of you keeping track, that is 12, 13 years for the Gent series. So we're back in school. Cambridge University, 1774. Independence was proving to be highly overrated. Niles Greenberry had come to Cambridge specifically because his very large and very involved family had always attended Oxford. He had a brother and quite a few cousins at that university even now. Other than Niles, there were no Greenberries at Cambridge. And he was a little lonely. Not lonely enough to rush home to the crush of siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and cousins who filled their corner of Cornwall, and not enough that he was willing to switch universities, but just enough that he had decided to do something he very seldom did: talk to people he didn't know. Over the course of his first term at Cambridge and throughout this first half of his second, Niles had been inarguably intrigued by a group known to all as the Gents. Theirs was a tight-knit circle, all in their first year at university, who had almost immediately become the stuff of legend. Nearly every student at Cambridge wished to be part of their very exclusive and lively brotherhood. It was with that aspiration in mind that Niles tentatively approached Stanley Cummings, who was generally assumed to be the head gent and who was sitting on a low wall in a courtyard. Niles had been hoping for a chance to approach Stanley. He'd been thinking of him by his Christian name in an attempt to feel less intimidated. The gent was by himself, which didn't happen often. It was Niles's best opportunity to begin what he hoped would eventually become a camaraderie. First, though, he had to actually speak to the man. There you go. First page of the first chapter of Puppy's story. I think you're going to love it. He's a lot of fun. And it's a rip-roaring good time. So there you go. First page of the first chapter. So yay, congrats to everyone who guessed that correctly. Hopefully you enjoyed that little sneak peek, that little glimpse of what's going to be happening in Puppy's book. So that is coming November 5th. Bonfire night, guys. It's coming November 5th. So mark your calendars for that one. All right. We are going to jump into our next game, which is an absolute favorite here on the Ultimate Book Club of Book Clubs. And that is the emoji game. For those of you who didn't notice this on social media or need a reminder, the way this works is I hop onto my Facebook and Instagram and ask people to leave a comment in which they try to give me clues to one of my own books, but using only emojis. So it could be emojis that represent the actual title of the book. It could be emojis that represent something in the plot or something about a character. It's just meant to help me guess one of my books, but just using emojis. It's actually a really, really fun game. So I grabbed a few of those at random without studying what they were to see if I can solve them. So I'm going to pop them up. We've got, I think we have 5 of them. 5 or 6. See if I can guess them. I want you guys to try solving them in the comments as well. And for playing along, I'm going to draw a winner now, just randomly from one of our guessing games, to win a copy of The Unassuming Curator by Sean Ann Bessie. So I will pick a winner for that at some point during the emoji game itself. And then tomorrow I will pick from amongst everyone who plays along with the emoji game, someone to win A Proper Scoundrel by Esther Hatch. So those prizes are on the line, guys. So this one's fun. If you don't play this with your book club, you really should, because it's a lot of fun. Okay, here's our first one. See if I can guess it. Okay, we have a groom and a bride and an angry face. Someone rock climbing in a mountain, a plus sign, a minus sign, a division sign, a flower, and then two people in love. The rock climbing made me think Harold, but they aren't married at the beginning and they aren't really angry at each other. And then the mathematical symbols make me think of Charlie Jonquil, but there isn't rock climbing in that one. I think this one is Forget Me Not, because they do get married at the beginning. Neither of them's very happy about it. Lucas Jonquil does climb mountains. That's where Harold gets it from. Julia is very mathematical, which is where Charlie gets it from. And flowers are definitely involved, because Lucas loves flowers and they do like each other by the end of the book. Spoiler, I guess. Let's see if everyone else guessed that one. Yeah, everyone's saying Forget Me Not. Yeah, the math is Julia. I do think the climbing is Lucas, because he does climb too. Okay, good job, us. All right, let's try the next one. Okay, sad face, violin, American flag, thumbs down, Irish flag, angry face, fire, violin, sad heart. Okay. This one is Longing for Home. It might be both books in the Longing for Home opening duology. So I'm guessing this is Longing for Home and Longing for Home Hope Springs, because Katie plays the violin. The Americans and the Irish don't get along. There is a fire. Okay. Yeah, that's got to be that one, right, guys? Let me see if that's what everyone's guessing. Yeah, Hope Springs, Longing for Home. Okay. Killing it. All right. I keep not looking at your comments because I'm trying to figure it out myself. But sometimes when we play this game, I have to cheat and look because I can't figure out what it is. All right. Our third one. Okay. So we have someone raising their hand. So a woman, gal, American flag, arrow, the UK flag, a church, a dude, rock climbing, music, and love. Okay, this one has got to be The Heart of a Vicar, right? Because we have Sarah, our heroine, who goes from America to England. The church and the dude by it, I mean, that's a vicar. This is Harold Jonquil I talked about 2 clues ago, who's a rock climber. And I think the music is either because of the choir that sings at the church, and that's one of the times that Harold and Sarah spend time together, or because of Harold's love of singing raucous drinking songs like any vicar would, right? So I think this one's got to be Heart of a Vicar. I'm going to pop over and see if everyone else thought the same thing. Yeah. Aren't these fun? It's such a fun game. Sometimes, though, I'll pick ones because I just do it at random where I sit here and stare at them and then feel really dumb because I can't figure them out. All right, let's see what this next one is. Okay. A bird. I don't know what the black box is. Sometimes they copy and paste weird, so I'm not sure what that is. But then a dog, sick, plant, broken heart, letter, a mirror. Oh, I know what this is. Mirror, heart, and a house. Okay, I know what this one is. I'm going to pop over and see if everyone else is getting this one too. Okay. I haven't seen guesses for this one pop up, but I know what it is. Took me a minute. I kind of don't want to give it. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call, because this is the first person I saw who got it right. So I'm going to award that person our drawing a winner now. And that is Ashley Christensen, who guessed Romancing Daphne, which is for sure, I think, what it is. So you're a winner of that, Ashley. I will include you in our post tomorrow. And the reason I think is James Tilburn calls her Little Sparrow, right? So that's the bird. I said, I think the little black box maybe was supposed to be something else, but it copied and pasted funny. The dog, you'll remember James' mother has a little puppy that's a little bit mischievous. His mom gets sick. Daphne goes to help with her herbal medicine. So that's the reason for the plant. And then they kind of have a falling apart and they break up. And there's a scene where he stands in front of a mirror with her and kind of helps her see herself more clearly. And then they fall in love. And then the house, they go to her house. So Romancing Daphne. That was a great one. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Okay. Potato, a butterfly, and the comedy tragedy masks. Potato always makes me think of Ireland, but butterfly makes me think of A Fine Gentleman, because the heroine in that is Mariposa, which is Spanish for butterfly. Comedy tragedy mask. Acting. And I'm not bringing up the comments on purpose. You guys are probably shouting at me because you know what it is. Oh, okay. I know what it is. All right. This is A Fine Gentleman. So Jason Jonquil and Mariposa, they ride the mail coach up to Scotland and have to pretend like they're a married couple. In fact, Mariposa does a lot of acting through this entire book. So that's probably where the comedy tragedy masks come from. But Jason invents a whole story about how Mariposa is emotionally attached to vegetables. You remember that? Because he's giving her a hard time. That's got to be it, right? Can we pop over and see if you guys agree? Yeah, Fine Gentleman. Yeah, it's that she was so attached to potatoes that when they got chopped up to be eaten, she just cried and cried and cried. And so now she can't eat them anymore. That's right. Okay. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, Sarah, they talk about potatoes. Come on. Oh, man, good job. All right, we got one more. See if we can figure it out. Okay, I think that's a queen or a princess. And then like a joker card from a deck of playing cards. See, Gentleman and the Thief involves playing cards. Okay, this one, sorry. Sometimes when you finally get it, you feel dumb. This one isn't describing a plot. This one is the actual title. The Queen and the Knave. That's what this one is. Oh, man. Excellent. Excellent. See if everyone else got it way faster than I did. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's like, duh. Come on, Sarah, get with it. Queen and the Knave. Oh, my word. Yeah. Emoji game. So much fun. Play it with your book clubs. It's fun to play like with your family. It's one of my favorites. I think it'll probably show up in every single book club of book clubs we ever do. Man. All right. So we will draw from amongst everyone who is guessing on this game someone to win a copy of Esther Hatch's book. That'll be announced tomorrow as part of everything else. Okay, so I told you that one of our big prizes is for me to visit a book club, usually virtually, because that's what works out the easiest, and it means you don't have to live near where I do. Here's how we go about making that happen. I want to do a book club check-in. In the comments, I want you to tell me what book club you are here as part of. And if that is a book club of one, you just put that book club of one. But if you're here with members of your book club, put your book club name in there. We will draw from amongst all of those entries and people someone to win a book club visit. So pop that in. You can keep doing that throughout the evening, but pop that in there. I'm going to share with you but just kind of a fun little behind the scenes thing, and also see what we can do with this. So I have here, this is a copy of a book called Goody Two Shoes. This particular version of it was published in, I think it's 1901, but the story itself, 1903. The story itself dates to the mid 1700s. And this story is connected to two of the characters in The Best of Friends. And I was going to make you guys guess, but I'm just going to tell you because I'm feeling generous, I guess. If you have read the book, The Holly and the Ivy, which is soon to come out as Snowdrops and Winterberry, little bitty Adam, Duke of Kildare, goes to visit Julia and Lucas Jonquil at their home. And while they are there, Julia reads a story to Adam. And that story is this one here. Isn't that fun? So I have a copy of it that is about 100 years too new, but it is the story that she would have read him. And in the end, she gives him that book to keep. So yeah, it says here, it was first published in London in April 1765, and few nursery books have had a wider circulation or have retained their position so long. So there you go. It's been around for a very, very long time. So that is the actual book, well, story that Julia reads to Adam and gives him a copy of the book afterwards. So there you go. All right. Oh, I have a question. This is a good one. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit off topic. Someone's asking why it is we changed the name of The Holly and the Ivy. My story, The Holly and the Ivy, the title of that story was used as the title of the anthology it was originally published in. And to publish two books in the same genre by the same publisher, featuring the same author and the same characters, but they are two different products with two different contents and two different interiors, but you use the same title, the amount of confusion and headache that would cause would be almost insurmountable. So the only way to move forward with this as its own standalone novella, which we wanted to do and give it a cover that fits the Gents series, was to give it a new title. Yes, Kate is saying that the library systems would go absolutely crazy if that were to happen. Exactly. We're trying not to make it so confusing and so miserable that it alone causes headaches. So, yeah, that's why it has a new title. But it says right on the cover that it was formerly published as The Holly and the Ivy. So you'll know what it is when you see it and when you get it. But it has a bonus epilogue. We check back in with little Adam, Duke of Kildare. But instead of being 8 years old, like he is in the first part of the story, he's now 13. We get to see a little bit more of what's going on in his life. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I enjoyed writing it, but there you go. So that's a fun little thing. I've read the story. I have an old copy of it. This copy is 121 years old, which isn't quite old enough to be the one Adam would have had, but it's the same story. So there you go. All right. So now I'm going to ask another sort of give me a guess here. You guys have read The Best of Friends, obviously, because that's why we're all here. So I want to hear your guesses. Which Huntress do you think the next Huntresses book will be about? Pop your comments or your guesses in the comments. If I see the correct one come up, then I will read you a little bit of an excerpt from that book because I have already written it. It's already been turned in. It hasn't gone through edits, so things will change before you get it, but you'll basically be able to get a little bit of a glimpse at it. So give me your guesses. And while you do that, I'm going to pick from someone who guesses, someone to win this fun little prize. It is a mug. It says Huntress at Heart. And it has a silhouette and an archery bow in honor of the Huntresses. So, yay. All right. I'm just going to do a random scroll and pick someone. Okay. We have a winner. Our winner is commenting on Facebook. We have Tara or Tara. Sorry, I don't know which way you pronounce it. Clark. Right there. I'm going to pick you. And while you were picked at random, I will say you're correct. The next Huntress to have her love story and her happy ever after and her story told is going to be Eve O'Doyle. She is the oldest of the two O'Doyle sisters. You'll remember they are our Irish sisters who are in the Huntresses. And someone had mentioned, and they're right, they picked up on my little hints, wink, wink. Someone had said that she was acting mysterious. Yes, I think that was about her. But yes, they are mentioned. Yeah, I said it was Eve. It's mentioned that the O'Doyles were acting a little bit odd, like something's off, but Eve especially. So yes, hers is the next one. Woohoo! All right. So since we had a correct guess, and I have a printout here, I'm going to read you a little excerpt from that book. And like I said, this hasn't gone through edits or anything yet, so things may change, but you're going to get a good gist. I don't often read two not yet published excerpts in one book club, so yay, I guess. All right, here we go. Ireland, December 1819. Eve O'Doyle was far too acquainted with chaos to be the least bothered by it. In fact, she felt right at home when in the midst of a hubbub. Truth be told, she was usually at home when in the midst of a hubbub. Not even the kitchen at her family home was calm. The family's precarious finances had long since emptied that room of the usual servants employed in a home this size and by a family of the O'Doyles' perceived status. Mother had proven herself an adept cook. Eve had taught herself to bake. Between the two of them, they'd saved the family a great deal of money. They were both undertaking those tasks when Nia, her sister, who was only just younger than herself, stepped inside. I feel it important for the both of you to know that Edmund and Scuff are currently in the yard pretending to be chickens. Mother met Eve's eye and shook her head with a look that clearly said, those boys are nothing short of ridiculous. Did our two distinguished Shrewsbury lads explain just why they've chosen to imitate barnyard fowl? Eve asked. Nia shrugged as she approached the work table. All Scuff would tell me is that they were undertaking an experiment. Edmund then laughed in that way he always does when the two of them are about to shift from mischievous to someone send a message of condolence to the king of the leprechauns because he is about to be dethroned as the world's most dangerously mischievous imp. Eve assumed a comically stern expression and looked to Mother once more. Remind yourself that you were eager to have them home from school. I had hoped they would return home the mature 16 and 14-year-old boys they are. Our brothers? Nia's expression twisted into one of overdone doubt. In tones as mock-serious as Nia's, Eve said, I think Mother must be succumbing to a dreadful fever of some kind that is addling her mind, a very tragic turn of events indeed. The entire family's suffering will be significant, I don't doubt, Nia sighed. There will be a great deal of fainting. Mostly by her, Eve added solemnly, on account of the fever. Mother pointed a knife at them, but not menacingly. You two are as bad as the boys. Oh no, Eve shook her head. We are far worse. Oh, there you go. There's a little glimpse at the O'Doyle family and the start of Eve's book. It's going to be fantastic. Yay. Oh, someone's asking about scones. Eve does make scones in The Best of Friends. And as was pointed out here, there is a scone recipe in the Fiction Kitchen Trio cookbook. That is my personal recipe. It's a great base recipe for making scones. Once you've had a chance to kind of play with it, you can then add more things to it. It's just a great base to start with. So yeah, go check that out. Fiction Kitchen Trio cookbook. There you go. There is some glimpses at upcoming books. The Huntresses have a lot of adventures yet to come. And the next one up is going to be Eve. But before we jump ahead to Eve, we're here to talk about the Best of Friends. So that takes us to our Q&A section of the book club. We have about 20, 25 minutes where you can ask questions. I will answer the ones I am able and willing to answer. Just pop them in the comments and I will grab them from there. There we go. And Kate says she's happy they have a happy family, at least as far as we can see. Yeah, you're going to love the O'Doyle family. They have difficulties, but they are a genuinely happy family, which is really, really fun. All right. Be Happy says, I love the flair for dramatics. Yeah, this family's dramatic and they're hilarious. I'm getting asked, will we get to hear about Finley's trial? Yes, it is talked about in the background of The Best of Friends. There isn't a ton of details in there. It is mentioned it is an inheritance trial, that Finley's inheritance as his father's heir is being questioned. So the details of that will come out in other books, but what you have now is all you have. So good luck. Okay. Amy's asking, when did Adam become such a softie? Adam's not a softie, but he loves his kids and he loves his substitute mom and he loves his wife. So yeah, we get to see a little more of Adam in his home life in this book, which was really, really fun because I've had a chance to kind of debate how after this much time, how would he be different with his family? And it was really fun to get to see him at home. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that too. Let's see. Oh, someone's asking, when are we going to hear more about the details of Finley's background? You get some of it in the Gents books. You're going to find out, at the end of Charming Artemis, after Finley has pushed beyond the boundaries that they are willing to endure, they've given him way more warnings than he should ever get. That when Digby finds out about it, he tells Charlie that the Gents know some things that could destroy Finley. And they've been kind of sitting on him to see if they were necessary. And now they obviously are. You're going to find out what those things are in the Gents books because they will come out there. And in future Huntresses books, you'll get a little more of an update of what's going on. So it'll slowly kind of roll its way out. So, woo-hoo. Let's see. How much fun was it to write the Mad Adam scene? So fun, right? Because I knew it was going to come to a head in that way, and I knew Adam was going to be there. The only thing that was up in the air in my mind was just how likely Adam was to murder Daria's father. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get himself killed. But no, it was really fun because I knew it was coming. And so I felt this like buildup as we see Adam being protective and we see Mater spending time there. Like she is literally a grandma to his kids. She's a fixture in their home. And knowing what was coming and how Adam was going to react, so much fun. Kimberly's asking if we're going to get to see glimpses of like Persephone's siblings other than Artemis and their kids. Yes. What ends up being tough about that, because we have such a huge cast of characters in this universe, every time I bring them back in, I have to in many ways reintroduce them because we have new readers. So the more of them I'm bringing in, the more time has to be taken doing that. And that makes it harder to get the actual story on the page. So if it makes sense for them to be there and it doesn't make sense for them not to be, and they naturally play a big enough role in a story for us to see a ton of it, then yes, they show up. Otherwise, they kind of get mentioned in the ways that make sense. But you will get to see more of that. Just it wasn't in this book. One thing that's interesting that you guys might, I don't know, keep in mind. We are in 1819 with this book. And 1820 is the year that the King George III dies. So we have some big things coming up historically for society. So that's going to bring a ton of people together because that's what happens when the monarch dies. There's a lot of things that happen in terms of state events and stuff. So lots coming up. Tony's asking, what did they do with Daria's dad? I purposely don't really tell you what they do. I want you to use your imagination, which probably isn't the answer you want, but they take care of things. That man is not going to bother Mater ever again, for sure. We'll probably never be able to look at him in the eye again. And I think he might even be nice to his daughter. What? Maybe not nice, but maybe just not mean. Missy K is asking, will the pack get its own series? First of all, did you guys like the name that Charlie's friends chose for themselves? I had so many contenders, but that's the one that just felt right every time I came back to it. So the pack, they are deeply interwoven into this series. But yes, every member of the pack will at some point get a book. So they aren't going to be left out. They are just as crucial as everybody else. Oh, yay. People like that they just called themselves the pack. So yay. How fun. So, okay. So hopefully that answered Movie Biff's question. Are we going to get books for all of Charlie's friends or just ones that, might end up marrying a huntress? All of them will get books. So don't worry. You're going to get to hear all of what they're doing. Lots of people who are grateful that Adam is looking out for Mater and vice versa. They're so good for each other. The moment in Charming Artemis where they finally get to reconnect, for me, was always a sea change moment for both of them, really. It kind of brought them full circle and helped them both begin to heal a little bit more from losing Lucas. So yeah, that was a great moment. Heidi says there's a list of flowers that are named in Charming Artemis when Charlie's talking about his father's garden, Lucas's garden at Briar Hill. And thus far, we've seen quite a few that have popped up as gents titles. She's wondering if those are hints. Are you saying that maybe I planned out this whole series 7 to 8 years ago and planted the seeds of that a long time ago? Awesome. All right. Yay. I love that people like the pack. Someone's asking if we are for sure going to get a book for Poppy Fennel. You know, we first met him back in Friends and Foes. Yes, absolutely. And I already know his story and it's going to be amazing and it'll be worth waiting for, I promise. He's just too young still right now. He's just a baby. He's a puppy in their pack. He's got to grow up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Who else has questions? I know I missed some of them, so I'm just kind of scrolling. Oh, and someone's asking, how do I keep my storyline straight? Do I have spreadsheets? Yeah, I do. I have lots of spreadsheets, lots of plotting worksheets. I have it's a digital image, but it's like a mind map where I have all of my characters and all of my families and how they're connected to each other. That helps me kind of keep some of that straight. But yeah, lots and lots and lots. So someone's asking, says, I thought the book said what the Jonquil brothers do to Daria's dad. Not really. We know he and Daria's mom have been sent out of London and told not to come back. That's about the only thing you hear. Outside of that, I think it's Jason who just says to his brothers, I have a really great idea. Let's go for a walk. And that's the last you hear. So there we go. All right. Okay. Let's see. I saw a question, but I'm not sure what it's referring to. So unless I can find it. Oh, yay. Okay. Well, this is very, very kind. Someone says, I love how real to life the development of this love story was. The remedies to each of their difficulties in bringing them together was very fitting. So yay. Fantastic. And she was very excited to find out what the guys were going to name themselves. Yeah, that was fun to kind of let them figure out who they were going to be and what their name was. And I love it. Jenny's asking if Daria has dyslexia. Yes, that is how I wrote her character, as someone who does as well. It was nice to be able to represent that on the page. They, of course, didn't have a name for it at the time, but yes, that's absolutely what it is. And she talks about how she gets so nervous reading in front of people because she stumbles over her words and it makes her feel kind of, dumb. That was pulled directly from me. For a very, very long time, I felt the same way. I do a little better now, but yeah, pulled that from me. Someone's asking if there'll be a book for Calm. Did you guys like finally meeting Lieutenant Greenberry for Love or Honor? That's the one that Stanley calls Green Boy. How does he refer to him? You angel-faced devil. I love that we got to finally meet him on the page. Kathy's asking if he will have a book. Yes, he will. And he's fantastic. Tess is asking if Julia will find love again. I am not going to answer that question. Kimberly is asking, now that the Dread Penny Society is completed, do you have plans for a new series or spin-off series with a proper romance line? I am neck deep in something brand new over at the Proper Romance line. It hasn't been announced yet, but I'm super, super excited about it. So watch for that sometime in the next few months, I imagine. We're going to get to be able to start talking about that. So yay. Now, whether it is a spinoff of something existing or something totally, totally new, I'm not going to tell you, but we do have things in the works. Will each new book tell more about others in the past books? You are still going to get updates on people from past books, in large part because it's such an interwoven group of people. With the Huntresses, the heads of each group are the siblings of the families from the previous series. So it's who are themselves deeply connected to the gents. So you're going to see a ton of it just because they all know each other. So anytime it makes sense for them to be together, they're going to be together. So you're going to see a lot of that, which is really, really fun. Let's see. Allison's asking if I have a favorite book in this universe. I always say my favorite book is whichever one I'm currently drafting, because I still love it and it's still interesting and exciting and fun. And I always say my least favorite is whichever one I just finished editing, because to edit, you have to dive so deep into a book and you're tearing it apart and nitpicking everything that you, for a little while at least, kind of lose the joy of it. Which is why I love the final proofreading stage where they send me the book all formatted and laid out, because by then it's been a while since we did edits and I can kind of read it a little more fresh. So no, I don't really have a favorite book in this universe. If I went by my previous theory, whichever one I most recently drafted, then that would make my favorite book in this universe the 5th Gents book, because I just finished that one a few weeks ago. So it's really good. I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's see. Oh, Jenny is saying they thought that they had, that the Jonquil brothers had taken Daria's dad to his club to make him confess that he wasn't behaving like a gentleman. I know they made that threat. Now I'm trying to remember if they actually did it or not. They may have. I know that was one of their threats. So I have some ideas of other things they did, but I let you guys use your imagination. They were thorough, because no one insults Mater and gets away with it. So, and I think, I suspect the Jonquils wanted to make sure they did a good enough job that Adam didn't feel like he had to actually kill him. I shouldn't giggle about murder, huh? All right. Yeah, so I'm hearing a lot of love for Calm Greenberry. So fantastic. I'm being asked, are we ever going to find out the connection between Jillian or, Jillian, Henry, and Nicolette? Yes, you are. That is all going to start to become more and more clear. Even in the very next Huntresses book, you find out a lot more about that. So yes. Let's see what else we've got. Wendy's asking, do these characters just like pop into my mind and say, you're going to write about me today? Sometimes they do. Luckily, my brain, for the most part, cooperates. If I know I'm working on this book, those are the characters that tend to show up, in part because I have it, I don't want to say trained, but I know the tricks to get it to focus. But every once in a while, I do get a character who just shows up and is like, it's my turn. It's my turn. Right now, that person is Finbar O'Connor. He's the one who is just sitting in my brain telling me he's been waiting long enough. And I keep telling him, I know, I need to get in and tell his story, because he's finally ready. And I don't think he's going to let me ignore him too much longer. Okay, I'm being asked, is there a time period that you would like to write in that you haven't yet? I would love to go back to the very early 1700s, late 1600s. There's some really interesting things that happened right about that time that could be very interesting to write about. It takes more research, which you guys know how much I hate doing research. But no, I would love to jump back a little bit further. I also would enjoy writing more in the time of World War I, because again, interesting things happening at that time. Obviously very tragic things as well, but some interesting shifts. Yay, more votes of happiness for the pack. So Stacy's asking if Colm is Stanley's age and how much older is he than Charlie. He is younger than Stanley. They did serve at the same time, but he's a little bit younger. And he is, gosh, now I have to do math. I don't remember off the top of my head how much older he is than the other members of the pack, but he is a few years older than they are. I'll have to go look it up. Let's see. Oh, yay. Love for Finbar. Yeah. His story, I've known what it is going to be for a very long time. And I've kind of been waiting on him to be ready to move on. And he finally is. So I gotta buckle down and write that one. Are we ever going to get the love story of the Lancaster grandparents. I'm guessing that is Persephone's parents. That one could be really, really neat to tell. They have a very neat story. That one could be fun to go back and tell. They are about the same age as the gents, so it would take place at a similar time. But yeah, that could be really, really interesting. Let's see. What time do we have? Okay, we've still got 10 minutes. So let's see what other questions we can find. Here we go. Oh, I answered that one. Okay, someone asking if I write more in the Hope Spring series. Yeah, obviously we're talking about Finbar. That's the Hope Spring series. His for sure. We want to jump in on. Angela's asking, which character was the most fun to get to know or the most surprising? Interesting. In this book, I actually think Daria was pretty fun to get to know. She's a little bit, I don't want to say quieter because she's not really quiet, but in the other Huntresses books, she almost comes across as a shadow. You know, like she's there, she's ready to participate, she's excited, but she kind of holds back a little, in large part because of, you know, the way she's been treated at home, but also some self-consciousness that's there. She feels like she's not very clever and not very smart, and that tends to kind of hold her back. So it was neat to dive a little more deeply and get to know her, but also help her discover her own strengths and kind of the amazing things about her, because she needed that. So, right. Asking for updates on the Seeking Persephone movie. We have done all of our in-studio filming, which is really, really fabulous. We can't do the on-location filming until the fall because the book takes place in the fall. So in order to make the exteriors match the book, we have to wait until then. I did get to announce a few weeks ago the casting of the role of Harry Wendover. The actor playing that role is phenomenal. Like I can't even put into words how lucky and fortunate and amazed and excited we all are that he's on board for this. His name is Toby Alexander Smith. He's a fantastic actor out of the UK, killing it. So that was announced a little while back if you missed that, but that one is fantastic. Aaron is asking, it says that I mentioned working on a new screenplay. Yeah, I started working on one yesterday. It's not connected to any of my books. Actually, it's a fully original, starting from scratch, but I'm really, really enjoying it already so far. So that's been really, really great. So pointed out that I loved your dedication you wrote for this book. Okay, so in these Huntresses books, I decided the dedications would all begin with dedicated to that one time, and then I would share something funny or interesting or I don't know, something from my past with the best intentions. It was dedicated to that one time in second grade when the playground game I invented, We're All Birds, resulted in damage to multiple trees, and Mrs. Sutliff, while acknowledging I had the best intentions, still banned the game in the name of arboreal preservation. So this one, The Best of Friends, is on that same strategy. It is dedicated to that one time in 8th grade when my best friend and I created a stick figure comic strip in which we were Olympic gymnasts cursed with poorly constructed equipment, leading to inevitable hijinks and hilarity. If I ever find that comic strip that we wrote together, I'll have to share it. I don't know if it was kept or thrown away, but we had a really, really good time. So watch for that in future Huntresses books. The dedication will always be to that one time. And then I will share a story from my life. It's been really, really fun to write. Let's see, what else do we have in here? I've had people ask if we are working on Courting Miss Lancaster or Romancing Daphne being adapted for the screen. We legitimately have to get Seeking Persephone done first, and it has to be successful enough. I'm discovering in the world of movies, things happen slowly, and there are no guarantees. So we have to kind of prove that there's an audience for this before we can even begin imagining more stories to come, but hopefully, fingers crossed, because it'd be fantastic to be able to keep going, huh? Awesome. All right. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Kate is asking if Rose is considered a huntress. Yeah, she is. She's their voice of reason often in Huntresses. So yeah, they think of her that way. I think she thinks of herself as more like an aunt or a big sister to all the Huntresses, but Artemis considers her one of their band, and that's what matters, right? Oh, all right. Okay. We have got just a couple more minutes. So I'm going to go real quick, remind you, we're going to draw a winner from amongst everyone who commented to win our Huntresses So Far pack. And I will draw from everyone who dropped the name of their book club or book club of one into the comments to win a book club visit. We have a few other prizes that are being drawn from people who comment. All of that will be announced on my social media tomorrow, so watch for it there. I'm going to quickly put this up so you guys know where to find me. This is where you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. That is where the winners will be posted tomorrow. And we'll see if we've got maybe one or two more questions. Okay, so asking, can we list all of the Huntresses? I think I have a Huntresses sticker, so we're going to do it from there. See if I can remember. Okay, here we go. So Artemis, she's our head honcho, right? Rose, who is their aunt and big sister and voice of reason. We have Ellie, whose book is The Best Laid Plans. Then we have Jillian over here in this gray dress. Her book is The Best Intentions. And then Daria right here. Hers is the book we just read for this book club, Best of Friends. We have Lizette, who's here on the end. She's kind of their baby sister. She's the French contingency. She comes in from France. And down here we have the O'Doyle sisters, Eve and Nia. And those are our Huntresses. So excellent question. Okay. Cami is asking about Toss. Toss is musical, right? He plays the pianoforte. He writes music. He's very musical. I actually play the pianoforte, so I had him play songs that I particularly like to play, ones that I enjoy. Imbibed. No, that's when you drink. Imbued. I gave him many of my same feelings about music, so that popped in there, and playing the piano. I don't compose music. That isn't a skill that I have, but that love of music, which pops up in a lot of my books, that really comes from me. So fantastic. Okay. All right, guys. So that takes us just about to the hour. This was so much fun. I hope you guys still enjoy doing our book club of book clubs. I do. I think it's a lot of fun. The next one we would be doing would probably be for Snapdragons in November. In that one, we can also talk about Snowdrops and Winterberry, but that's probably the next one we're going to do. So just keep your eyes out for that. If you're joining us in after the fact, make sure you leave comments. We are going to draw winners tomorrow morning. So that'll be May 1st. In the morning, it'll show up on my social media. So thank you guys so much. This was really, really, really fun. I hope you enjoyed the book. I hope you've enjoyed the book club and that you have a wonderful night. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you on the next book club.